Hey guys, what's going on? It's Yusha. Welcome back to the Daily Lessons. This is going to be episode number 3. All right. So today, essentially, what we're going to be talking about is goals, our priorities throughout life. For the New Year's, of course, I'm going to get into that. But I'm also going to try my best to give you a framework that has helped me accomplish more of my goals and tasks and just things and just changes all across my life that I actually wanted to make, but I found it very difficult to implement as well. I recommend this framework that I'm going to discuss later on in this video to one of my friends, and he seemed to really like it as well. So I'm hoping that it'll benefit you guys as well, because it definitely has benefited me a lot as well. Now, firstly, let's go off and let's talk about something that I have failed already. You probably have failed at as well, and probably I would say about 95% of the population that has this goal has failed, and that is a New Year's resolution. Literally everybody fails at their New Year's resolution. Now, this video is being recorded, or this podcast episode itself, it's being recorded on February 5th, 2024. More than likely everybody has already gave up on their goals or is about to give up on their goals on Valentine's Day, because that's when, everybody gets a date and they're happy and whatnot. A coworker of mine actually pointed that out to me, and I thought it was hilarious that there's a huge drop off of people just quitting on their New Year's resolution, which is really just to lose weight right after Valentine's Day, because they found love or they found happiness, or they just know that they can actually pull somebody to go on a date. But I digress on that. So here's why I think that a lot of people do fail on their New Year's resolution. And it's not just about losing weight, it's about all the other goals that you guys have set as well, including myself. So this is why I always fail at my New Year's resolution. Number one, I always look at the days and I'm like, man, I have a whole year to accomplish this one particular goal. I got this, right? And I always end up overestimating what I can actually do in a year, and I underestimate what I can actually do in a day. So for example, when my New Year starts off, if my goal is to lose weight, right? I unfortunately tell myself that I'm not going to start going to the gym in January, because that's when it's completely packed, right? Like the gym is just completely packed. I'm going to wait until some people actually give up on their New Year's resolutions, which happens in February, right? So February comes around and I still haven't been to the gym yet. March comes around, still not there, or whatever. Maybe April, I'm like, all right, cool. I got to pick up the pace. We're in the second quarter of the year. Definitely just need to go ham at this, right? So I'll be consistent for a few days, maybe a month or so. And then right after that, I'm back to, just eating unhealthy or just not going to the gym in general. What I've noticed about myself is that this ends up happening because I feel like a year is way too long for me to just follow through on one particular thing, especially with different life events that happen. Life happens at times, right? And I feel like we don't really think about that when we make our New Year's resolutions on December 31st, right? We don't ever think about oh my God, how's my life going to change? What life events can possibly happen? And they're unpredictable, right? But we still need to always account for something going wrong in our life. It just happens, right? I'm not saying that I wish bad upon you or anything, but I'm just saying that it is something that just happens to every single person that we know, right? But we never plan for something going wrong. Now, the workaround that I have for this New Year's resolution problem that everybody faces is giving more power back to you, right? So I kind of got inspired by this book that I was reading. It was called 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. I hope I'm pronouncing his name properly. But essentially, it's a pretty good book. Essentially, the idea that I got from it, I don't think I could claim this idea to be mine itself. I think I really just did get it from the book, but I'm basically paraphrasing it. Here are the steps that you need to do if you just keep on failing your New Year's resolution and you need some goal setting strategy. All right. So this is the framework that I have been using. It's worked pretty well for me. It's one of the reasons how I started this podcast as well, and I'm kind of going consistent on it at least 3 days in. So hopefully I can just make that 30 days and 40 days and maybe three months later on down the line, right? Essentially what you do is that step number one at least, you go ahead and pick a time frame, right? Now it could be any time frame that you want. The only requirement that you have is that it has to be more than 30 days. Okay, I'm kind of putting this information myself, that for me, I found that 30 days is way too little. 1 month is way too little for anything that I want to accomplish. I tend to go with 40 days. Okay, so let's say it has to be 40-day minimum of a time frame, right? So let's say you pick that 40-day minimum time frame. From that time frame, you have to commit, and you have to tell yourself that, hey, for 40 days, these are my top 3 priorities. Or if you want to pick 4, you can go ahead and pick 4, but nothing more than that. Okay, pick your top 3 or 4 priorities, and then tell yourself that these are the top 3 or 4 priorities that I am going to focus on in the time frame that you have picked, which is 40 days. You can also do 3 months if you want, but it just has to be more. It has to be 40 days or more, right? I wouldn't go more than 3 months either. I think you cannot. I think human beings, at least the age that I'm at, and just people that are younger than me, I think we do a terrible job of actually visualizing and planning for the future itself. So 40 days is my sweet spot, and 3 goals is my sweet spot as well. So pick any 3 goals, right? Whether it be going to the gym, saying, hey, for every single week, I need to go to the gym at least 5 times a day, right? Do that. Pick that. All right, cool. You need to follow that for 40 days though, okay? Whether it be learning another language, hey, I'm learning a new language, I'm taking a class, and this is how I'm going to succeed at it. You can do that. Just, you have to commit to it for 40 days. What this does also is that it helps you build up your habit, and at least in your mind that, hey, you gave it your all within those 40 days as well. And if you don't like it, you can quit it after those 40 days, right? But what ends up happening is that you might find something that you don't like, and guess what? You don't have to commit to it anymore, because that time frame that you picked of 40 days or 3 months, it's over now. So you don't have to make yourself suffer an entire year just because of it. And at the same time, you're still trying new things. So when the new 40 days comes around, you can just pick another goal and you could go hard on that, right? So this is what has worked for me. Now, the reason why I like this framework so much is because it kind of does account for, just things going wrong in life, like I kind of alluded to in the beginning. In 40 days, you can plan accordingly, and you can kind of visualize far enough. But in January, you can probably not assume on how good your year is looking or how good your year is going by the time you're in October, right? So many things can go wrong over that 10-month time frame. Now, a lot of things can go wrong in a 40-day time frame as well, but the chances and the likelihood of something going wrong in that 40 days is less likely to happen than compared to with 10 months, right? So that's one of the reasons why it works. Another reason why it also works is just because you're in control. You're the one picking the time frame. You're the one picking your goals as well. But more importantly, you're the one that's picking the time frame, and not some artificial clock that everybody else is following as well, right? Everybody waits for Monday. Everybody waits for the first of the month. Everybody waits for the first of the year. You can start this at any given day. It doesn't need to be a solid even number. It doesn't need to be an odd number. It doesn't need to be a good date for you to start, or the start of the week for you to start on something that you want to accomplish. You don't need anybody's permission to obviously live your life and just chase after the goals and the dreams that you have for yourself. But sometimes we all need a framework, and I think this 40-day framework really does just establish that. So try it out. Let me know what you think of it. And this was episode number 3 of the Daily Lessons. And make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. and tell your friends about it. Yeah, maybe they can benefit as well. All right, guys, I'm signing off. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.